And the countdown is. So, man, oh man, another awesome day, another awesome dollar, and another awesome day of football, man. We're missing the personification of greatness tonight, that being the great Flash 22 tonight. We're missing him tonight, man. We'll get him back next week, man. But I have to ask you, BRF, man, how you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing all right. Kind of spent some time with some family today. Watched the games. Ate some good home cooked food. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna let the poor Falcon showing damper down my day. It was a good day. I had a pretty good day. I can't complain. I'm off today. I'm off work tomorrow, so we can kind of well, depending on how long we're gonna be on here, we can kind of chop it up a little bit, depending on how late we're gonna be. So I ain't in no rush to go to bed. So the night is good. The night is young. The night is good.
We sound like kids when we say we're not anxious to go to bed. Usually at our age, we trying to get the hell off the phone, get off work. We trying to do everything we can to hop in the damn bed, get some of that food up in us, get some alcohol up in us, and go ahead.
If I had to work tomorrow, I'd be like, let's make it quick, let's make it fast, let's knock them down, let's get out. But I ain't got to go to work, so it's like, you know what? Let's do the damn thing, and I got a few things I got to get off of my chest on one of these topics anyway. So hey, I'm just ready to dive in. I'm ready to have some fun with my brother from another mother.
Yes, indeed. So, man, first topic, man, we're going to get with the quick hits, man.
All
Dwayne,
right.
what's going on, man?
So what's up, DC?
Hits, hey, quick hits, man. Who's
All
the
right.
GOAT performer of the week?
Is it even a question? Isaiah Rodgers. Is it even a question what Isaiah Rodgers did with that Minnesota Vikings defense today? It's a two touchdowns on defense. I think it's like the first time a player has had like two defensive touchdowns and at least three forced fumbles in the same game or something like that. That man went off. That man went off. Like let me tell you something. If you played FanDuel fantasy football today and you had the Minnesota Vikings in your Sunday lineup in tournaments, you want to know how many fantasy points they scored today as a defense?
How many?
30.
Damn.
If you get 10 points out of a defense, if you get 12 to 14 points out of a defense, you had a really good day. Them boys put up 30 fantasy points as a defense. I'm talking about that was insane. Yeah, my GOAT performer of the day is clearly for me is Isaiah Rodgers and what he did for the Minnesota Vikings defense today. That was one of the greatest individual defensive performances I've seen in a long, long time.
You know what? I'm gonna go on the offensive side of the ball since you went defensive. I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts.
I can get with that.
I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts. But look, Jalen Hurts in the first half had only thrown, I think, about 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came out and brought them back and scored 4 touchdowns in the second half. And that just goes to show everybody that it's not always about what you do in the box score at this point. Shout out to PSP, by the way. Yeah, I owe you a shot, man. It's not always about what you do in the box score. It's about what you do as a quarterback, you yourself. Because I know Jalen Hurts gets a lot of criticism about, it's not – because, let's just be real. His playing style is not pretty. It's not glamorous. It's not, it's not, Fergie. GALMOROUS. It's not glamorous. So guess what? He's going to get a lot of criticism because it's not glamorous. When you see a lot of glamorous guys in the NFL, they get their credit, even though they playing on stacked teams. But since it's him and it's not glamorous, and not to mention, he has a very, very Kareem-like stoic demeanor. He doesn't let anything phase him. So he's not one of these guys that saying, "Look at me as a quarterback." You would think that would endure him to a lot of fans, but unfortunately, it doesn't. That just goes to show you that all that humble shit is, that's another story for another day, though. But you get where I'm going with this. But that just goes to show you when somebody needs to hear if humbleness counted as a quarterback, then Jalen Hurts would be the most respected guy, arguably, in the league. But I'll let you piggyback on that a little bit.
Well, here's my thing, and here's the thing with Jalen Hurts as well. That team as a whole had was not having the greatest of days, and they always talk about the players he has around him. How he has this super team and just has all these talented players around him. They follow his lead as the quarterback of this team. He willed them back for this victory. He ended up with 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, another 40 or so on the ground with another touchdown. He was the reason they won today. So this whole people still questioning whether Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback in this league or not, they can stop, because he is. He's a top 10 quarterback in this league. They stop. I mean, he is. At the end of the day, it's about wins. It's about and honestly, to an extent, it can be about how you play in those wins. Because I look at it like this: I made a video talking about the WNBA MVP, and I had a line in there. It says sometimes it's not always about front running. Sometimes it's about what you can do when you face some adversity. And I'm sorry, 26-7 is adversity. And they came back and they got it done. And he was at the forefront of that. So shout out to Jalen Hurts for putting this super team on his back and getting a win against one of the teams in the NFC we have all unanimously agreed would give them the most problems, being the LA Rams. We both have unanimously said the two teams that probably will give them the biggest headaches are the LA Rams and the Green Bay Packers. So, oh yeah, shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Caleb Williams too. Shout out to him too. I think easily his best game as a pro.
Yes, indeed. And we're gonna talk about him later in the show. We got you covered, PSP. Shout out to PSP, by the way, man. Hell of a show on Friday night. So yeah, go performer of the week. All right. I already know what you're gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Who is a team that needs to be worried regardless of their record at this point?
Our boys.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because it's the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff. And mainly Zach Robinson. He is showing himself to be an awful, predictable play caller. And I get it. I was watching the game. I was looking at the Carolina defense. They were playing a lot of off coverage. Sometimes you still need to attack it. You need to show them that you're not going to be scared regardless of the coverages you're in. And we've seen Michael Penix throw. He already has one of the better deep balls in football. You cannot be scared to attack coverages like that. You cannot be scared to adjust. Zach Robinson should have adjusted to that. Okay, if they're going to play deep off of me a lot, I need to call more shorter. I need to call more intermediate stuff and let Drake and let Darnell and let Kyle do their thing in yak, because we know they are all really good after the catch. And then you bring Bijan up as a fourth. Let him run some shorter routes, catch the ball, and do his thing. Bijan Robinson is arguably the best run after might be the best run after touch player in all of the league.
Yeah.
And Zach Robinson is doing a horrible, horrible job with his creativity as an offensive coordinator. And I'm seeing it on Falcons Twitter. Like, I hate our fans. I know hate is a strong term, but our fans get on my nerves. Penix is 2-4 as a starter. I understand that. Not all of it's his fault. This was the first bad game of his career so far. And we're not going to sit here and act like some of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the league just never had bad games early on in their career. I mean, good gracious, look at Peyton Manning's rookie year. He damn near threw 30 interceptions that year. I mean, before he became who I feel is the second greatest quarterback of all time, to say he had an up and down rookie year was an understatement. And he had Marvin Harrison and Marshall Faulk on that squad. People forget about that sometimes. In my opinion, I think Marvin Harrison is a top 5 wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Marshall Faulk has a claim to be a top 5 to 10 running back of all time. And he had them early in their careers. And it's crazy because Marshall Faulk the next year went to the then St. Louis Rams. So we need to get off of this because there was one the video you made about the Falcons. One guy was like, Penix looked. He said, Desmond Ridder never played that bad. I'm like, stop. I have seen games. Desmond Ridder looked absolutely deer in the headlights, didn't know how to make a play, was scared to make a play, horrible. That game against Carolina, where he tried to run out of the pocket and literally threw the ball the opposite way of where Drake London is going, right to a defensive back. And now it's like, because it's Michael Penix, people trying to turn on him now. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're turning on him already. No, nah. PSP, I love you, but we ain't gonna do that because he earned his right out. He earned his way out because he was trash. He earned his way out. So ain't gonna be no silver linings for Younghoe Koo. I loved him. He carried us through some tough stretches, but he earned his pink slip.
Yeah, I love. Look, let's not act like we are. I'm a hardcore Atlanta fan. Look, I love Younghoe Koo, but he wasn't Martin Anderson.
He wasn't even Matt Bryant.
Yeah, no, he wasn't Martin Anderson. So
yeah.
I remember when Martin Anderson was our whole damn offense in the 90s.
What did they do in 90? Let me see. 90, I think it was 96. They were 3-13, 4-12 or something like that, and just boy. Yeah, like
was our whole damn offense. Get it close enough, let boy Dash kick up field goal.
Exactly.
So
so it's like we ain't doing no Younghoe Koo as far as how he feeling. He earned his pink slip out. Now, man, Parker Romo. I mean, hey, it's a shame he had a game. It's a shame he had the start he had against Carolina because he basically carried us in that Minnesota game offensively. He basically carried us. We don't win that game without John Parker Romo. So shout out to John Parker Romo. Shout out to him. But like when he missed that first kick, I got a little nervous.
Yeah, after that.
And then Carolina drove the field on him. I'm like, I'm not feeling this at all. But let me tell you something. It was not the defensive fault. They held Carolina to 224 total yards of offense. The Atlanta Falcons, I think, are like the first team, or I don't know how many teams, to outgain their opponent by more than 100 yards and lose by 30 in a shutout. It was 339 total yardage to 224. So it wasn't the defense's fault. It wasn't the defense's fault at all. That's what happens when you have poor play calling, and you're always putting and then the 2 interceptions by Mike and 1 pick six. Didn't have PSP. Quit giving that man an out. Quit giving that man an out. He doesn't know. See, I don't. He does not get an out. I love him. I salute him for everything he did. He carried us through the end of Matt Ryan and then Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ritter. You want to talk about somebody who is the offense? I will give Younghoe Koo that for a while. He was the offense because we had really bad quarterback play. But I am not giving him an out. He deserved to go. Parker Romo just needs to come back next week and get his mind right. But I do not like how there are fans already turning on Michael Penix. I don't like it at all. Just after the freaking Minnesota game, we was talking about his poise and how he was still making great decisions with the ball and not turning the ball over. This was his first bad game as a pro. Y'all, chill out. It is up to Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris, for that matter, to put that man in the best positions possible in order to make plays and win games. You are not going to win games calling as many swing routes as Zach Robinson likes to call, because ultimately Carolina is going to read you. When they got to where they were reading them, as soon as the ball left Mike's hands, it was a hat on the hat immediately. And then one of them ended up in the pick six. Zach Robinson, if you're gonna, I don't mind you calling swing routes. You have Bijan, you have Tyler, you have arguably the best running back room in the league. They're both really good receivers out of the backfield. I don't mind you calling that every once in a while to slow down the pass rush. But Carolina wasn't hitting Mike. You really had no reason to call that many swing routes.
No.
Use your receivers. Let Mike distribute the ball. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's good at. Let him distribute the ball to his playmakers and let them do what they need to do. Zach Robinson did a horrible job in play calling today, and he's going to have 1 week to get it right, because Washington is coming, and more than likely Jaden Daniels is probably going to play this Sunday. So you got a week to get it together. I will say this though. Exactly. But I will say this though. PSP, I love you, but your offensive line still ain't that good. I still like our defensive front four to do their thing when they play. But if that offense is scoring points, it does not matter. It does not matter.
Yep.
Zach Robinson and Raheem, they need to get together. A game like this should be a wake-up call. You got to have your men prepared in all facets if you're going to win. Because a team like the Carolina Panthers, who are in your division, who fans don't like you, who fans have been talking trash all off season about us, and you went out there and proved them delusional ass fans right. So,
hey, can't disagree with you there, man. But I have to go with the Cowboys on this one, because I mean it just went from bad to bad. If you really want me to be honest with you, it went from bad to just terribly bad. Oh man, look who in the crowd at the game, bro. Lawrence Taylor's at the Meadowlands.
Okay, they just coming back from commercial on my end. Hey, you know what? If I'm LT and I'm a Giants fan and I see that front four, I'd get a little giddy too.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be interesting to see if they can win tonight. I believe that if they don't win tonight, I believe it's time to panic for that team. But
And I can't knock the Cowboys pick either. But at the same time,
I'm not losing on no hot date night, PSP. I'm not losing no hot date that night, man. Come on, now give me some love, baby. But
PSP until Zach Robinson can prove he can consistently call consistent gameplay as far as the quarterback position and his offense is concerned, I don't trust us winning. That was partly why I picked Minnesota, because I didn't trust them. The defense just had the game of their life. That defense is going to be good this year. That defense is going to be good. Say what y'all want. That defense is going to be much better. They're already improved. They are going to be good. That offense has to get better. I'm not going to just be picking the Falcons every week just because they're the Falcons. I'm going to be realistic. Right now, I have y'all beating us until they show me something.
But hey, I gotta say the Dallas Cowboys right about now. Excuse me, I got them all over the place. I gotta say Dallas because that right there was nasty as hell.
Ugh.
That was nasty. That was blue. That was algae around your It was algae around your dishes in the morning type of nasty.
Ugh.
Everybody know that one family when we go to their house, the dishes nasty as hell, algae just building all up in this shit. Yeah, that's that
Ew.
nasty.
That is nasty.
So yeah, that's algae building up in yeah. You know, you're gonna need more than bleach to do that. You're gonna have to bleach that with pine salt and put
And
some vinegar in that. You
and
know, put some
Jesus.
vinegar. Yeah, you're gonna need some vinegar. You're gonna put some vinegar and Clorox. You need to go ahead and finish that up. I know people on TV said that makes gas. I mean, my parents used it for years. I ain't passed that yet. So I'm just being real. I've been using it for years. I ain't passed that yet. So
Oof.
yeah,
That pass
that's
that pass defense need Jesus.
yeah, and the thing is, Caleb Williams showed what he can do when he's comfortable and they actually block. But yeah, that was nasty as hell. You have to wonder. I said this on TikTok. You have to wonder if uh you have to wonder if
That was dirty girls. Yeah,
oh
right.
man,
I
yeah,
mean, I
that
mean,
was
I'm telling
yeah,
you, man. Yeah.
they was nasty.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on,
You
bro.
come
You
on,
now you
man.
being nasty.
You
But
should you should have said Snitsky's teeth.
yeah, Snitchky. I'm gonna say, that you gotta wonder about this. You gotta wonder. It was Jerry right all along and saying like, hey, this team is not going anywhere fast. Let me get something for this player before he gets away in free agency at this point. Because even with Micah, I don't think they could have beat him because of how terrible that damn defense is, even with it. And you got to wonder if Jared was like, you know what, after this year, I'm going to blow this damn thing up because this is not getting better anytime soon. Let me blow this thing up while I still got a chance before we really end up in some bullshit. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. You saw that last year when Micah Parsons was on the team. You saw that last year. That defense was trash with him on it. I mean, you saw it last year. So I mean, the proof was kind of in the pudding. So to an extent, I don't really blame Jared for getting what he could out of Micah Parsons, knowing that defense is gonna suck. Our defense is gonna suck whether you're here or not. Let me see what I can get for you. And it's not like he got a bad haul. He got a decent haul for him. He got a decent haul for him, and a brilliant and a good, not a and a pretty good defensive tackle in Kenny Clark. So it's not like he got a bad haul. So I don't blame him for it. But it's like Micah Parsons gave you like a slim hope of pass rush. They have absolutely none. None. And then on top of that, their secondary can't cover to save their life. They could barely stop a nosebleed in the secondary. And Trayvon Diggs, who I think is one of the most overrated players in the National Football League, because he had one really, really good year where he had like 11 interceptions and everybody just fed off of that. He's one of the most overrated defensive players in the league. And he continues to show it week after week because he's not the greatest in man coverage. He gets burnt regularly. And let me tell you something. There's no way they should have got away with that flea flicker, especially with that high pitch back to Caleb Williams. That should have been a straight line drive pitch back to Caleb Williams. You pitched it back that high, and he still got off a pass that clean to Luther Burden for that touchdown. That's walk of shame bad. That's you getting your own Greyhound bad. That's what that was.
Mm. Look, Dallas is in trouble right now, and the offense didn't make it no better because Dak threw 2 picks. I mean, then you come out here and throw 2 hot damn picks. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a lot of work that they have to do, man. Dallas, I hate to say it, Dallas, it's getting nasty. And
It didn't help. It didn't help that CD got hurt. I think CD would have helped a little bit.
mhm.
Once he lost CD Lamb, writing was on the wall at that point.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself how much that is gonna affect. and them going into the long run. But right now, man, I know Flash is out, but we have a very, very special guest right about now, man. You want to know who it is?
Bring him on in.
Sports PSP.
How y'all doing?
What's happening, bro?
I told you that game was nastier than Flavor Flav's teeth.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. But I'm gonna keep it pushing.
All right, since you in the quick hit, we in the quick hits right about now. We take about 5 minutes for this segment. This is before we get into the meat of the potatoes. So, who's the best 3-0 team? We'll start with you, PSP.
Ooh, wow. Oh man, I mean, you got the Chargers, you got the Bucks. Barely survived. I mean, they found a way to win that game against the Jets, even though Aaron Glenn with that nice dance step.
Didn't he look like Alex Wright? You remember Alex Wright from WCW?
Don't do Aaron Glenn like that. Don't you dare do that man like that.
Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. He said he didn't look like Alex Wright from.
He ain't lying.
I'd have rather you said Ernest Miller than Alex Wright. Don't you do that.
I used to like that dance, that whole Alex Wright dance when he used to do that. He used to come out with his hands up, and then with the little techno music on. But yeah, he looked just like Alex Wright doing that dance. Matter of fact, I'm gonna meme that before somebody gets a hold of it, so I can copyright it.
Oh my god!
To me, champ, I got to say the Eagles, because even though they've won and it hasn't been pretty, they just still find ways to win. And what you saw against the Rams, never underestimate part of a champion. The Rams had a 9-point lead, and then finally Jalen Hurts took off the training wheels and was like, enough, I'm going to win them this game. And he did. He validated he can do that. And we saw him do that in 2022. So let's not act to pretend we haven't seen this from Jalen Hurts. And we also saw this from him in 2023. Mm-hmm. My thing is with the Rams, that has to be demoralizing. Not to blow a 19-point lead, but to have one, but 2 blocked field goals. That is demoralizing. I mean, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Did y'all speed miles per hour on Jordan Davis? The fastest for a man 300 miles per hour. Yeah. The fastest for a man 330 pounds or more.
I mean, he lost a lot of weight too. At UGA, he was 360.
He's now down to like 325, 330. And for him to be playing like this,
18.59 miles per hour at 325 pounds. That's crazy.
But he's a game changer. He's a force to be reckoned with. Oh man, it was a great game, but I still got to go with the Eagles. Because even when they're not doing so well, they just find a way. And then after that, you got to look at the Chargers and then the Bucks. Baker Mayfield, said it before, and I'll say it again, man. He is playing out of his mind. You just got to tip your hats off. And next week, Eagles is Bucks. The battle of the OU quarterbacks. Which one was going to be clutch? And that's going to be a very compelling game, man.
Hey, you heard it here first, man. Look, man, we can start calling Baker Mayfield Cardiac Baker because he's been out there doing comebacks for the ages. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to just be real. Best 3-0 team, in my humble opinion, is right here in the NFC South. It's Tampa Bay. My humble opinion, Tampa Bay Bucks. Because Baker Mayfield has ice water in his veins. And the team knows that. And I think he can very much wield them to a lot of great things in this division and in this conference. So don't be surprised he ends up in the NFC Championship this year. I will say that.
You saw Ibuka? You saw Ibuka with that one hand earlier?
That was pretty. That was pretty.
That was pretty. It was pretty. But I'm not going to see it in the NFC South right about now.
It's it's Philly. It's Philly for me. I mean, defending Super Bowl champions, and then when you look at their roster from top to bottom, I still feel like no team, none of the other 3-0 teams match the Philadelphia Eagles in terms of sheer talent. But just their ability to find ways to win. So yeah, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. I feel like they're still I think they're the most talented team in the league. So hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man. It's still the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to the comments real quick. This is something I was waiting to address, but I gotta say something since Dwayne brought it up. DC, what's going on to CJ Stroud? It's simple, man. They ain't got no blocking. I mean, what is my favorite saying? The quarterback can't throw on his back. Quarterback can't throw on his back. I don't know how many times we got to say that. He's essentially becoming the Joe Burrow of the AFC South. Just being real. The only difference is not every quarter. Look, let's just be real. Not every quarterback can overcome their offensive line. Not every player. There's only two players that I've ever seen just overcome their offensive line, and that's Barry Sanders and Joe Burrow. Those are the only two that I can see. Despite how bad you guys are, I'm going to be great.
I was going to say Andrew Luck.
Yes, and Andrew Luck. Despite how bad my offensive line was, I'm going to be good. I'm going to carry this team. Barry Sanders, Joe Burrow, and Andrew Luck. Those are the only three that I've ever seen succeed, despite how bad their offensive line. Everybody else, when you get hit like that every single play, then you lost because he was getting hit last year, and Laramie Thompson was on this team. So you could just imagine what was going to happen, this year when you don't have him anymore. So, like I keep saying, we love the quarterback position, but the most important position in the world is them big boys up front, that offensive line. Hey, it's like
but yeah, why don't you fly all the way to Houston, Texas? You wouldn't mind living.
I would not get anything. Look, I'm not going to even tip my way in Houston. I'm not going to get shit did in Houston. Too many distractions. My type of distractions. So no, you got to stay.
Them Onyx distractions.
No. We're not going to put the business out there. We're not going to kick the business in the street. We're going to keep it on the sidewalk today. So we're going to keep the business on the sidewalk, not kick it in the street today. But I'm going to just be real. I couldn't do that. But plus Gabby all is out there, Dominique Chin, all them out there, got to keep the distraction to a minimum. So if I ever was an NFL player, I would have to play. I would love to play in a small market. That way, the only thing you got to do is work out. So I would near go to a big market. So yeah,
that in a place with no state income taxes.
Yeah, but
Tennessee is a good spot.
Yes, Tennessee. Yeah, but yeah, I would not want to do. But yeah, he has no line, and that's the reason why he's slumping at this point. Like I said, he's the AFC South version of Joe Burrow. All right. Who's the GOAT player to watch the next couple of weeks that we need to be watching?
In terms
Rashard
of
Gary.
yeah. Who?
Rashard Gary.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Rashard Gary. He has been playing lights out coming into this week. He was leading the league in sacks. So yeah, Rashard Gary, we got to watch him. I know they lost today against the Browns, but we got to keep our eyes on him.
James Cook of the Bulls, because to Champ's point, when they incorporate him more in the running game and take the load off of Josh Allen, that's great. Josh Allen's getting up there in age, and plus you want to save some of Josh Allen's best days come postseason. And another one, Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze, this is another reason why the Bears had no problem taking him in the top 10 to pair him up with Caleb, and you've seen the potential. Speaking on the Bears-Cowboys game, we can look at bad Dallas's defense all we want, but that was the potential of Ben Johnson with Caleb. Caleb looked more comfortable. He was getting rid of the ball quicker. He made really good decisions. Dallas's defense, you gave up 239 passing yards in the first half. And 3 touchdowns to that team. I mean, champ, like I said, even though they beat the Giants last week and we commended them for the win, still, that wasn't that impressive because for them to lose like that, and again, in Chicago's defense, because remember, the past 2 games, they gave up 39.5 points, and they struggled. Dak, the first pick, that wasn't on him. That was on George Pickens. That other interception, yeah, that's on him. I mean, Chicago, you got to give them their credit, their recognition when it's due. And CD, that injury, that is a concern. So you got questions with the defense. Your number 1 wide receiver is now hurt. And what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's a lot of good questions that you just asked. BRF?
Goat player to watch in the coming weeks. Depends how long Aaron Jones is out. I'm gonna say Jordan Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I like, and you gotta, and he's Georgia. I mean, he's Georgia Tech. We got to shout him out. But yeah, definitely for me, it's Jordan Mason because like you saw it when he was in San Francisco after Christian McCaffrey got hurt. I mean, granted, that running scheme is dictated on the running back anyway, as far as the cut and go. But even still, though, just to go to another team, different offensive line, different scheme, but still being able to run the ball and make plays, like he's legit. I mean, he is showing the entire NFL that he is a legit running back that needs to be schemed for and taken seriously. And I think with Aaron Jones being out, he gets an opportunity to shine a little bit as the number 1 guy. He took complete advantage of that today because they absolutely dismantled the Cincinnati Bengals. I expect more of that from Jordan Mason in the coming weeks. He is a legit running back, and he's reintroducing himself to the world, and I'm happy for him. So my guy's going to be Jordan Mason with the Minnesota Vikings.
All right. Let's switch to college on the quick hits. This was for you, PSP, since you're already here. Thoughts about the Oklahoma defense and the coming out party this season in the SEC?
Man, oh man, 3 margaritas and some fries from Saturday night. I mean, what a blessing, what a blessing. Like you said, champ, normally when you think Oklahoma, you don't really think great defense. You really think more high-powered offense from Sam Bradford, Baker, Adrian Peterson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. I mean, I still have concerns about the offense, and John Mateer is one of the candidates for the Heisman Trophy. But I love what I'm seeing from Brett Venables. He's part of Oklahoma. Keep in mind, remember, he used to be Oklahoma. And for him to be back with this team, emphasizing defense, 10 times they sacked Jackson Arnold. 10 times. And again, Jackson Arnold used to play at Oklahoma. So they made his life hell. And we've been doing our part defensively. I like what I'm seeing. Now we got to be very careful because we got Texas, the Red River rivalry game. No, that's still a concern. That's still a concern because again, the rivalry, we can't discount that. Listen, you thought you were going to beat Carolina, and look what happened. So I don't want to do that. But I love what I'm seeing from Oklahoma in the defense. I'm very pleased with Brett Venables on the defensive side. I still need to see much more consistency on the offense. But, man, I'm happy. I am really happy as a Boomer Sooner. And I can't wait for Georgia versus Bama this Saturday.
I'm not looking forward to that game. It's going to be real. I'm not looking forward to that game. I'm scared as hell.
Well,
I do not like playing Alabama. That is a heart attack week. You
need the Bible that day. You need your Bible.
Yeah, But yeah, I do not like Alabama week. But I digress. What do you think about Oklahoma in the SEC this year? I do emphasize this year because this is different from previous years. We usually think about them offense and putting up 80 points a game. This year is that defense just beat the hell out of people.
I love it. It's
They have a,
phenomenal.
they have a better chance to compete in the SEC if they toting some defense out week in and week out. They have a much better opportunity to compete in that conference if they toting out defense. Good on the scouts and the coaching staff up there at Oklahoma, recognizing, you know what? We are in the SEC, predicated history, reputation, defense, toughness, hard nose, smash mouth. They're adapting. They are adapting, and that's good to see. That's very good to see. I definitely think they have a shot to do some great things in the SEC if they're going to tote out a defense like what you saw against Auburn or like what you've seen so far early this year. If this is what they're going to be bringing week in and week out on defense, Oklahoma's not a team to be slept on. They're a team to be reckoned with because I mean John Mateer has shown himself early in the season to be a formidable quarterback. So I definitely do think having that defense, that ability to rush the passer. I mean, that let me tell you something. That many sacks on anybody is just a testament to how bad that offensive line is for Auburn. But at the same time, it's just about your scheme and your defensive coordinator, your defensive coaches, and understanding the best opportunities in the best ways to get pressure and pass rush on the quarterback. So shout out to Oklahoma, and I think they're gonna I think they got a shot to make some noise this year. Like I said, if they bring a defense like that every week, they got a shot to make some noise this year.
Yes, indeed. Let's switch up on the quick hits and go to the WNBA. Now, just today, early this morning, I thought they caught me around an hour early. I was still waking up, but they called us around an hour early at 9 p.m. The announcement I thought was supposed to be at 11, but they called us at 9. And Asia Wilson ended up winning the WNBA MVP. First and foremost, does anybody have any objections to that at this point?
Not at all.
Nope.
I mean, look, I love Nafisha Collier. Had it not been for injury, and if the Minnesota Lynx struggled while she was gone, then you could make a case for her winning the MVP. But Asia Wilson, remember, without her, where would the Aces be? And they went on a crazy winning streak, and she was putting up crazy numbers along with it. So that to me is enough to say the MVP. As far as her as ranking her of the greats, she's the first to be a 4-time WNBA MVP. So you got to throw her in the conversation with Diana Taurasi or Maya Moore or some of the all-time WNBA greats. It's just a testament, man, and I'm really happy for her. Well deserved.
What about you, BRL?
She is absolutely in the WNBA GOAT conversation. I mean, like PSP said, bringing up Diana Taurasi, bringing up Maya Moore. Hell, I'll bring Cheryl Swoops in the conversation. I'll bring Candace Parker. I'll bring Candace Parker in the conversation. Asia Wilson is in that tier in terms of greatest to ever play in the WNBA. First 4-time league MVP, and then at the same time, what co-defensive player of the year as well. I mean, like, what more needs to be said about this woman that hasn't already been said? And let me tell you something. Y'all know I was on the Nafisa Collier bandwagon in the preseason before the year even started. And early on, she was proving me right day in and day out. I thought she had that MVP on lock middle of the season. The Minnesota Lynx were destroying everybody, and she was the front. She was like the head of the snake. She was the one doing the biting when it come down to like You know, the Minnesota Lynx just imposing their will on people. Nafisa Collier was head and shoulders above everybody. But it's like it to those that make it seem like that she might have got a little bit penalized for having the team she had around her, still being able to win to an extent without her. I mean, is that her fault? Absolutely not. That's not her fault. Shout out to the Minnesota Lynx front office for building the best possible team they could around her, building depth and being able to keep that thing afloat when she got hurt. But there's something to say about what Aja Wilson did on that 16-game winning streak to end the season. When you're averaging 26-11, and then you're going out there averaging 52% from the field, almost 60% from three, and almost 90% from the free throw line during that 16-game winning streak. How do you ignore absolutely imposing your will and showing your greatness at a time of the year where the team absolutely needed you the most? And I get it. At one point, they were 12-14, and she was playing well, but the team wasn't winning. But sometimes it's a matter of just everybody stepping up and you being at the forefront of that. And then it just like it took off. So I definitely don't have a problem with Aja Wilson getting the MVP. She locked it up. She basically locked that game against Minnesota where they just ran them out of the arena. Exactly. And she was just doing Aja Wilson things. I mean, Aja Wilson, she locked it up. I mean, after that, and then to keep on, I'm talking about, like I said, the number she put up during that 16-game winning streak, that's like some of the greatest basketball I've ever seen a woman play in the WNBA. That was insane. So I definitely I got no problem with Aja Wilson winning that award. She absolutely deserved it. And as much as I love Nafisa Collier and her game, because in my opinion, if Aja Wilson's the best player in the league, you can make a complete and honest to God case. Nafisa Collier might be the best scorer in the league. She might be the best bucket getter in the league. The way she plays and her poise and just her smoothness and her ability to just create something out of nothing on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, she is just.
But this could actually be a great thing, though. This could be a great thing. You know why, BRF? Because now with Nafisa Collier not winning the MVP, seeing Aja Wilson win it, maybe this could be Nafisa Collier's chance to win that championship.
Yes, and look, I'm gonna just be real. I watch everything. I wish y'all could see my setup right about now. I'm talking to y'all. I got the game here, and I got MLB on the television, so I'm looking around and then paying attention to everything at the same time. Do you not realize?
Journalism.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But do you not realize this? Now, BRL, you told me about the Phoenix Mercury coming into the season when they got Satu Sabli, the unicorn. You know, when they got Alyssa Thomas. So they got the best front court, arguably, in this league right about now.
Exactly.
Am I correct in saying that, right? Do you know?
As far as front courts, they're up there with like Atlanta and teams like that who have ridiculous front courts. Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you realize that team is so good defensively as far as the Minnesota Lynx are concerned? Peep this. They only allowed 2 points in the post the entire fourth quarter.
Then they ended up coming back and winning that game by 13.
Yeah, they came back and beat the hell out of them. I said, what the hell just happened? They were neck and neck the whole game. I'm like, damn. And then they just came
game
back.
Ended up being like 80. Yeah, ended up being like 82, 67, 69 or something. Just insane.
Yeah. They came out there. And Courtney Williams, hey man, the best backcourt in the league, Courtney Williams and Caleb McBride. That has to be the best backcourt in the league. So, you know, that just. But speaking of backcourt and speaking of backcourt partners, one person in particular is missing her backcourt partner, but yet she's thriving at this point. Her name's Kelsey Mitchell. So, what kind of a statement? How big of a statement win was that for the Indiana Fever to beat Las Vegas in Las Vegas? Now, for those of you who don't know how significant that is, Usually, when you go to one of these WNBA arenas, when you play against the Indiana Fever, it's half and half. When you go to Las Vegas, that ain't the case. That is not the case. That team, Las Vegas, belongs to Las Vegas. There's a reason why they've sold out over 48 home games. And they sold out tonight, which is 49 home games in a row. So when you go to Vegas, that's one of the most difficult places to play, and they got them on a route. How big of a statement win was that? Because whether they steal another one on the road or not, Las Vegas still has to play back-to-back games in Indiana, and don't nobody want to play back-to-back games in Indiana. If you really want me to be honest with you. That is a very hard place to play in for various reasons. So how big of a statement win for that? And I got to ask this question. If they're able to make it without Caitlin at this point to the finals and get past the aces, you got to remember, this is the aces. Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Gray, Asia Wilson, the works. They're able to get past them and get to the finals, not necessarily win it. Is there a lot of questions that are going to be asked about this team if CC comes back and they regress?
I think so. Because again, if they're able to thrive without the contributions of Caitlin Clark, who many consider the face of the WNBA, although I believe that should be Asia Wilson, yeah, it's going to hurt. Because how they're able to win without her, I mean, not just Kelsey Mitchell, I mean, Leah Boston, who's played well. I just think, though, if the Indiana Fever actually pulled this off, that is actually a crazy story for the WNBA. To do this without Caitlin, who's been injured throughout the season. So, yeah.
I think it's a huge statement win to win in Las Vegas, especially on the night where Asia Wilson won the MVP. And, you know, Kelsey Mitchell over 31 points on the night on the opposing team, the night that, and she was in the MVP conversation. On the very night that the MVP is announced, you go to somebody else's backyard, go to their trap and take over their trap and score over 31 points and lead your team to victory. And it was a rout. It was not pretty that last quarter. I think that's a huge statement win. And they did what they were supposed to do. They came and stole one on the road. So whether the Aces win tomorrow night, well, on Tuesday or not, it really doesn't matter. They got what they came for in Las Vegas. They got to make them two an Indiana count. I don't think they're going to win two in a row in Las Vegas, but whether they win or not on Tuesday, I think they got what they came for. I think it was a huge statement win. As far as Kelsey Mitchell is concerned, I'm just going to be real honest with you. What I got tired of is people talking about how Kelsey Mitchell, especially when she was going on a roll like late in the season, people talking about how she was a role player and all this other stuff. She's a role player. She can't get past a certain level without Caitlin. Look, you know, she was there for years and still couldn't do anything. Look, I'm going to tell you something for all of you fans who just now started watching. Kelsey Mitchell was on a team that had 5 different head coaches in the last 8 years. And the coach that led them to the playoffs last year is not even on this team anymore. So she's had a revolving door of coaches that haven't been making a lot of moves. They were the first overall pick 2 years in a row because Aaliyah Boston got drafted first overall the year before Caitlin did. So when you have a revolving door of coaching and not a lot of free agents that are coming to the team, then guess what? You're not gonna thrive in that environment. It's hard to survive a revolving door of coaching. 5 coaches in 8 years. That means the average coach is getting fired at an average of every 2.5 years. You're not going to survive that. Well, a year and a half. The average coach has survived a year and a half. They haven't even made it through the season. So for them to, more people need to give Kelsey Mitchell whole flowers. Because the thing is, me and you were saying this, BRF, the priority for the Indiana Fever during the offseason was to get Kelsey Mitchell signed immediately so she won't go nowhere else. We were saying that the entire offseason. That was the goal. As a matter of fact, I think me and you did a watch trying to see if they was going to get her signed because I was I'm like, hell, you ain't got room for it. I'd love to team up with Alicia Gray, but you know,
Tell me about it.
exactly. Because they came in there and upset us. But yeah, I think that a lot of guys need to a lot of fans need to give Kelsey Mitchell her flowers and stop acting like that. This is a team that had talent before Caitlin got there. They just hadn't had the right leader there as far as coaching was concerned. And guess what? A lot of these players that they got this year, they wasn't on the Indiana Fever. Sophie Cunningham was on Phoenix last year.
Yep.
A lot of the other players, Sydney Costa, she was on the Las Vegas Aces. A lot of these key players that were on the Aces, on the Fever at this point, were not on the Fever last year. They got this team together. So yeah, they're doing a great job. Give Kelsey Mitchell her flower. Do you remember? I'm gonna ask you something. Do you remember who I said will win the Rookie of the Year this year in football?
Who will win the Rookie of the Year in football this season?
Yeah.
I
think Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah, guess who just scored?
Yeah, he did say Cam Scatterboo.
Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah, yes, Cam Scatterboo. Cam Scatterboo. He's out there wrecking it, baby. But yeah, I think there's a lot of teams, a lot of the fans need to give Kelsey Mitchell her. And you score a touchdown. I don't know what's up with these damn kickers, man. I'm gonna just be real. You need to start making them run during practice or something, because it's getting out of hand. But yeah, Kelsey Mitchell definitely deserves her flowers. We need to start giving credit what credit is due. I know there's a lot of stands out here, not fans. There's a difference between a stand and a fan. There's a lot of stands out here who don't want to give credit because it's not CC. And I'm going to tell you this. If I see another fan do this, stop putting Lexi Hull, Caitlin Clark, and Sophia Cunningham's picture when the damn Indiana Fever win. Stop doing that. They're only one of them is playing, and they're a role player. Lexi Hull is a damn role player. It should be Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, whose pictures are up there. All the rest of them damn players on the bench. They so far back on the bench, they got to shoot them Gatorade. So start putting the players start giving credit what credit is due. And if you sit around here, and if I hope that I see any of you so-called fans sit around here and talk about Caitlin won a championship. She ain't played but 13 damn games this season. 13. So you better shut up, because I will roast you live online. I promise you I will. That championship will belong to Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin has been on the bench the entire season.
If you want to give Caitlin Clark credit, give her credit for not causing any controversy, for being the right type of leader, right type of teammate for the Indiana Fever. Now, does that help regarding the play? Is she not playing? Okay, I can understand that. But give Caitlin Clark credit for keeping the flow, keeping the tempo, not causing any controversy, because we've heard stories about athletes who've been sidelined or benched saying some stuff that we don't approve and causing controversy. At least you can give Caitlin Clark credit on that.
I will give her credit on that, but as a teammate, that's what you're supposed to do. When you're injured and you can't contribute, you got to be a cheerleader for your teammate. So would we be cheering anybody else and giving them super flowers just because they did that? If there were any other player,
we did that with Russell Wilson, because remember Russell Wilson, when he was sidelined, there was the last 2 games for the Denver Broncos. You know that for a fact, champ. They had a chance to make the playoffs. You know why they benched Russell Wilson, and that was why
did they do that? They had a chance to make the playoff. Why did they do that?
Because they want to pay that, but they want to pay that injury guarantee. That's why they benched him.
Okay, so that's why he got benched. She got injured, and has been sidelined ever since. That's a completely different ball game. I commend Russell Wilson for doing that, because guess what? They had a chance to make the playoffs that year, and rather than make the playoff, they decided to sabotage the playoffs. So that really showed the true colors of Sean Payton and that organization. that you would rather sabotage the playoffs rather than go ahead and go forward and just pay me what you owe me. So, no, you don't get credit for just simply being a cheerleader on the sideline just because you're injured. You don't.
But look at Tyreek Hill. You look at Tyreek Hill. You look at some of the problems that he's caused when he was on the sideline. You look at some of the things that he said to Tua. And even though Tua Tagovailoa has not been playing well at all, let me be clear, he has not played good enough football this season. Still in all, if I'm Tua, considering the things that Tyreek had to say, knowing that you were out, I am kind of upset. At least I'll give Caitlin Clark credit. Yeah, you kind of expect that because, again, it's her. She's a part of the team. But at the same time, hey, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. If you have to lead behind the scenes, if you have to say and do all the right things, fine. We give credit. Let's just give credit where credit is due. Champ, you do that with a lot of players, whether they injured or uninjured. You still give them their due. I'm just giving Caitlin Clark her due. That's all.
No, and that's no knock on you. That's no knock on you. You're absolutely right. But I'm not into the business of giving you something that you haven't earned. I'm just being real. So I'm going to just be real. We're not going to count this as a championship. This is one for Caitlin. And she got what? No, you got to play. You got to play.
No, she has to play.
You got to play and you got to win that championship. You got to earn that. So if they win this year, this is Kelsey Mitchell's championship. And the Indiana Fever championship. That championship does not belong to her. So
do you think Caitlin Clark should play if they make the finals?
No. She's out for the season. She's already on injured reserve.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, you got to ask yourself, how is the chemistry of this team going to be damaged if she's back at point guard versus Kelsey Mitchell running point?
Even if they were to try to clear her at some point, stay out the way. If you don't think you can go, stay out the way. I think at this point, the chemistry they've been able to build with her being on the bench, they need to ride it out. They really just need to ride it out. She need just stay on the bench. Let the players that have been there for the majority of the season, let them ride it out and let them handle that. You stay where you at. You'll get an opportunity next year, whether you win the championship or not. You stay in the back. You stay in the back this year. You let that team finish what they've been able to do. Attempt to finish what they've been able to do without you playing this year. You stay on the sideline.
And again, Caitlin Clark still has a lot to prove, champ. There's no question. There's no doubt about that. If you can't play, you understand. At the end of the day, we're not under her circumstances. So, but I understand to the point of not allowing her to play because why put her health in further jeopardy? And do you want to ruin the tempo, the chemistry that the Fever have? Do I still believe that the Fever can beat the Aces? Possibly. I'm still going to roll with the Aces because they're the more loaded team. But there's a shot, though.
There's a shot. And they beat them at home. I mean, when you beat the Aces at home, and you brought up a lot of valid points. There's no knock on you personally. But the thing is,
I know you weren't talking about me. I think you were just talking about generally people in the media and the public.
Yeah, that's not Caitlin's championship. So she's been hurt the entire year. She's been in and out of the lineup. She only played 13 games. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just call it like we see it. If a player gets hurt, or we're going to sit up there and give them a ring just because they're on the team and give them credit for it, no. Start showing who needs to be shown. Kelsey Mitchell is the reason why that team is the way it is right now.
Although I wouldn't mind Sophia Cunningham post locker room. You know why.
MAGA Barbie. Okay. And you know what? I can't even be mad. At least she honest. I can't even be mad. You are the worst, my friend. You are the worst. I said it in a good way. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. We already got what is the most pleasant surprise in the NFL after week 3 right about now thus far?
The Indianapolis Colts. And
Indiana
the way, and then yes, exactly. Specifically, the way Daniel Jones has played thus far this season. He earned the starting job in the preseason, and he is validating Shane Steichen week in and week out thus far. He has played tremendous, turnover free for the most part football, and just he's playing really good ball right now. Let me tell you something. If Daniel Jones was Daniel Jonesing it up like he was with the Giants, we would be all on his butt. So we got to show this man some love playing the way he's playing this year. He's playing consistent. He's not turning the ball over. He's distributing, let his playmakers make plays, whether it's Michael Pittman or Alec Pierce or Josh Downs or Tyler Warren, who's a beast at tight end. And then not to mention, Jonathan Taylor is like, hey, do not talk about top 5 running backs in the National Football League without me. I'm here to remind you this year. And he's starting to look the part again. So, but yeah, the most pleasant surprise for me thus far is the way the Indianapolis Colts have played this year. Like you could see Daniel Jones is having fun. And honestly, that's like one of the biggest things I want with my starting quarterback is, are you enjoying yourself out there playing? Daniel Jones looks like he's enjoying himself again. And it's refreshing. I'm happy that he's playing well. I'm happy he's doing his thing. The Indianapolis Colts right now, I kind of said it. I felt like if any team was going to steal this division from the Houston Texans, it would be the Indianapolis Colts. And right now, the Houston Texans are not that good. And if they're not careful, the Indianapolis Colts are going to run away and hide with the AFC South title if they're not careful. So, yeah, my most pleasant surprise is the Indianapolis Colts.
I would definitely say the San Francisco 49ers because they are winning, and look at the amount of injuries that they've had. Brock Purdy injured. We don't. Has Brandon Ayuk even played?
Nope.
Right. We know. We all know they traded Debo to Washington. Now, in return, we ended up giving them a piece in Brian Robinson Jr., Mac Jones. And again, I said this back in 2021. They would have been better off drafting Mac Jones with the 3rd overall pick than Trey Lance. It seemed to me they drafted Trey Lance because of potential, upside, ceiling. Kind of like with Indianapolis. They drafted Anthony Richardson with the 4th overall pick because of upside, potential, and ceiling. And what we've seen with Shane Steichen and Kyle Shanahan is, regardless of what type of quarterback, as long as they can work under my offense. What did I say, champ?
No, not you. I'm watching the game. The damn Russ to do another champion, to do another damn pick.
Oh, I don't know what to say, but anyway, what it goes to show you with Kyle Shanahan, say whatever you want about the blown Super Bowls, all that other stuff. You can't, outside of maybe an Andy Reid, Sean McVay, can you name a better offensive play caller than him? And when you look at what he's doing with Mac Jones, it also goes to show you with Bill Belichick. It also goes to show you what he was subjected to in New England. It also goes to show you that Belichick didn't evolve not only as a head coach, but also as a talent evaluator. You didn't give Mac Jones enough pieces, enough weapons. So if you put him with an offensive mind like a Kyle Shanahan, he will flourish. And with Christian McCaffrey, and they're winning games, given the fact that some of the noticeable players have been injured. And they're just coming off a great victory against Arizona. And unfortunately for Arizona, I'm reading the report from Adam Schefter. James Conner suffered a season injury to his right ankle that will require surgery. So devastating news for Arizona, but the San Francisco 49ers, because just like with the Indianapolis Colts with the quarterback change, they're still winning games. And plus, Mac Jones, to Champ's point, because he mentioned it on my pod, if Mac Jones can help them win some games, he's going to get an NFL job. And it's kind of like you saw with Sam Darnold going from San Francisco to Seattle and thriving, just like with Baker Mayfield going from the Los Angeles Rams to Tampa. When you're surrounded with that type of coach, a brilliant offensive mind that can help you not only as a quarterback, but can help you evolve as a player, and for you to go elsewhere and to flourish, that says a lot about not only you, but it says a lot about the person helping you. And when you get San Francisco, under the circumstances that they're in, because Seattle, they blew the brakes out of the New Orleans Saints. They almost beat San Francisco. And then you look at Arizona. And then you look at the Rams blowing a 19-point lead. It's still one of the toughest divisions in football. So right now, I would say the 49ers.
I gotta say Daniel Jones. And don't forget about 50 Cent for San Francisco. Rick Pearsall.
I hate you, Champ. I hate you, Champ. I hate you, Champ. But honestly, though,
I'm the word.
Honestly, though,
you say I'm the word.
No, but
honestly,
look, big up to him. He came back. He came back, and he was able to do his thing. So guess what? Hey, look, let's not pretend. Look, Brian Robinson, the same thing happened with him. And the first thing he did when he came out, what song did he play?
He came out the Many Men by 50 Cent.
Exactly. So guess what? I'm not saying that as just a joke. It's the truth. He came back from getting pew-pewed and just came back. He got 118 yards today. So, hey, we played
what a coincidence. So did Brian Robinson Jr. as well a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we played it when the president got pew-pewed. We played it when Brian Robinson got pew-pewed. So let's play it now with Ricky Pearsall.
I'm not gonna say that on the air. I'm gonna be quiet.
Don't do that. Don't you dare. I already read you. I can smell it on your damn breath. You're gonna get us kicked off the damn air.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. You okay? You right, champ. I'm gonna be quiet.
Your damn bro. Stop doing it. No.
You right. You right, champ. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
We gonna lose the sponsorship of every damn thing. Stop.
I'm sorry.
Shit.
Okay, but you called me at the right time because that sentence was like right there. That sentence was like right there at the tip, and Champ's like, "No, you don't."
Yeah, if so many folk losing their damn jobs, I ain't gonna let you lose yours. You got a family, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh boy. Okay.
So yeah, Ricky Pearsall is definitely that guy. And look, I like the fact that we had that mini man comeback. Like I said, the president, he had his mini man moment. Brian Robinson had his mini man moment where he came out. Now Ricky Pearsall is having his. So, and that's not an insult. That's a great thing. You know, your life is in jeopardy and in the balance after something that catastrophic. It is very much a big deal when you're able to come back. I mean, living, much less playing football.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I gotta say, man, the pleasant surprise for me this week is Ricky Pearsall. You know, Ricky Pearsall is doing his thing. And look, let's just call it like we see it. Not only is San Francisco 49ers one of the richest quarterback franchises in history, wide receiver.
Yeah, they draft those too.
They don't miss.
They draft those too.
They do not miss. So, you know, they lost two big-time receivers. You know, Brandon Ayuk is out with injury. Deebo Samuels is out there at PSP's Washington Commanders. Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall are no joke still. And you got to think about this. George Kittle, the safety net, he's out.
Yeah, he's hurt too. He got hurt against the Saints.
Yeah, he's out. So considering all of these players are out and the fact that they're 3-0 and Ricky Pearsall was able to make that huge comeback from nearly losing his life in order to, you know, go back and do some great things, I think Ricky Pearsall is the pleasant surprise of week 3. I'm going to ask this question going forward with since Green Bay lost today, unfortunately. I have to ask y'all this. Has Josh Allen officially taken over as the best QB in the league?
Oh man, I think for the first time in a while, the debate is open. I mean, I'm still rolling with Patrick Mahomes as the best QB in the league, but I think for the first time in about 3 years or so, that debate can finally be had, particularly with like how Josh Allen has played, especially in certain big moments, particularly against Lamar Jackson, beating him twice the way he has. And just his level of consistency, being the reigning league MVP coming into this season. I think for the first time in a while, we can have a conversation. I still think it's Patrick Mahomes, but I think we can have a conversation with him, between him and Josh Allen. I think we can have a conversation. I'm still taking Mahomes, but this is like the first time in a while where if someone said Josh Allen right now is the best quarterback in the league, it's the first time in a while that I wouldn't be like, nah, you wrong. This first time in a while, I'm like, you know what? I can't argue with you on that. So I'll still go with Patrick Mahomes, but the debate, the talk can be had for the first time in about a couple years.
PSP.
Yes, you can definitely have a valid conversation about it's still Mahomes the best quarterback, but it's not him and everyone else. It's close now. Not just with Josh Allen, but also with Lamar Jackson. We can't discount what Lamar Jackson has also been doing as well. So he belongs in that conversation. I just think it's just Josh Allen and Lamar who are competing in Mahomes' way. Burrow when healthy, yes, but that's only if he's healthy. And right now, Justin Herbert, when he plays this well, and finally they got him the right type of head coach in Jim Harbaugh, and finally giving him the offensive line help, even though Slater's gone, but he has Joe Alt. And we all know that San Francisco, during his time, he liked to invest in the old line first and worry about the other needs. And now you're doing that with the Chargers. Again, Justin Herbert is the best quarterback Jim Harbaugh has had his luck back in his days at Stanford. So there's still for Justin Herbert, but I think it's still Josh Allen and Lamar because we're gonna probably see the Ravens and the Bills in the AFC Championship game. I really do see that. This may be the year that Kansas City, for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era, misses the AFC Championship game.
Okay. And it's looking like it right now because right now, I have never seen Kansas City as dysfunctional as they are now. That's the first time I ever seen Andy Reid and Travis Kelce yelling at each other. I've never seen that. And it's like the Super Bowl hangover. It's like the knives are coming out all the way out at this point. And so, yeah, I have to give it to Josh Allen at this point, not just because of that. If you really think about it, on the offensive side of the ball, he only has one Pro Bowler.
James Cook.
So, I got to give it to Josh Allen. People might get mad at me, and you heard about the whispers last year about certain names they were calling his MVP. Don't do that, please. But yeah, we all heard about the DEI MVP, which is a BS if you ask me. He earned that. Let's just be clear. He lost his star receiver, and everybody thought he was finished. Everybody thought he was finished.
Everybody?
Yeah. A little bit of everybody thought that he was finished.
Who thought? Everybody. I don't understand that.
I'm talking about they thought the offense, and they thought they were going to regress. I will say they thought they were going to regress.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were going to regress because
I did.
I thought they were going to regress. I thought he was going to be good. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was because even though I know Keon Coleman has talent, I don't know. I didn't see the receivers growing with him the way they ultimately have. So I don't mind being wrong.
Champ, I didn't see Josh Allen regressing.
But you heard it in the media.
Oh, okay, media.
Media.
Well, again, Michelle Obama said it herself. ESPN, reality TV, Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I did not see Josh Allen regressing. Here's why. He went to the playoffs without Stephon Diggs his second year before they had Stephon Diggs in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
What was the knock on Josh Allen? Turnovers. Since he came into the NFL, he led the league in turnovers. Now he's better because even though he may not have that target in Stephon Diggs, he's spreading the football. And more importantly, they're cutting down his workload so that you can save him for the remainder of the postseason. Incorporating James Cook more, which is why James Cook got his money. Josh Allen is playing efficiently. And again, he won the MVP. You, NBRF world champ, had Lamar. Matter of fact, y'all said MV3. I thought it should have been Josh Allen because what he was able to do under the circumstances. And plus, champ, you said, hey, they were consistent. The voting was consistent because the year before, Lamar won the MVP, but he didn't win it based off of stats. If that were the case, then either Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott should have won the league MVP.
Well, I'll say this though. For a lot of the year, and y'all should remember this, for a lot of the year, I was on the Josh Allen for MVP train. I just thought Lamar Jackson's numbers were just becoming so astronomical. I thought they were going to look past the fact that Josh Allen clearly fits what the MVP award should be. I just thought they were going to look past that because Lamar Jackson's numbers just got to a point where it's like, good gosh, can we really not give it to him? So I think they made the right call. I just thought 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. How do you overlook that? But Josh Allen was clearly the most valuable player in the league last year when you consider his value to the Buffalo Bills and what they would have been without him. So they basically went off a lot of the criteria they went off the year before when Lamar Jackson won the MVP. You know, a lot of it was like, you know, the 10 wins against playoff teams and all that, you know, just showing, the value in what he was giving to the team. Josh Allen was pretty much like, what are the Buffalo Bills without him?
Right. And they also with Derrick Henry, and then Derrick Henry was taking off. He was one of the top 2, top 3 rushers in the NFL that season. So though another argument for Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson, but I think it's Josh Allen, but I wouldn't rule out Lamar Jackson because this is the best we've seen Lamar as a passer with Todd Monken, with the right types of weapons. I think unless Kansas City makes some serious changes in the offseason, right now in the AFC, it's Buffalo and Baltimore.
I think as far as best quarterback in the league, if Joe Burrow's not hurt, he's in the conversation too.
Yeah, but I said when healthy. When Burrow's healthy, Burrow belongs in that conversation.
That's what I'm saying. When he's healthy, like I said, I've called them I've pretty much given them the name in terms of best quarterbacks in the league. They are the horsemen. They are the 4 horsemen of the NFL. When they're talking about the best quarterbacks in the league, they are the 4 horsemen. But you can't really make an argument if the dude case. The best ability is availability. You can't make an argument if you're not on the field.
But if you keep having Joe Burrow on suicide watch, he's going to end up in the hospital, and who knows? Dr. Kevorkian may have to take care of him.
Hey man, look. At one point, if we keep seeing Joe Burrow on the sideline, we might need to change his name to the $6 million man. But I digress. None of y'all know what the hell I'm talking about, do you? When I talk about the $6 million man.
Steve Austin? Yeah, Steve Austin, man, absolutely. What you mean? What you mean?
The $6 million man.
Champ, I'm a couple years older than you.
My bad, shit. I mean, everybody's not a nerd like I am, man. Not everybody watched the $6 million man. I wonder what he
Hey,
be 6
I did. I watched the $6 million man. I actually did watch. I watched those old shows growing up. Like I watched Lou Ferrigno's Incredible Hulk. I watched the $6 million man. I watched those shows like that.
Hey man, don't steal that. I'm gonna take that to the internet, man. We might need to change Joe Burrow's name to the $6 million man. Well, you know what? I've always wanted to know how much would he really cost to repair due to inflation. Will it be $36 million or $100 million at this point? No, I'm just asking because $6 million back then was a hell of a lot of money, but now when it costs you even more, how much would it cost now?
He probably would. He probably would be at least 30.
$30 million, yeah.
He probably would be at least 30.
Speaking of the $6 million man himself, if Jake Browning is able to lead this team to the playoffs, is that more of an indictment on Joe Burrow being fragile than the offensive line?
They're not going. They're not going to the playoffs looking the way they look today because that was trash. So today told me all I need to know about the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow. They ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry. Like if it was
Martin Luther Kingston,
they need to call somebody. Because if that was a close game today, I might have a little more faith in them. But 48-10, yeah, no, y'all ain't going nowhere. No, if he was to somehow do it, I think I wouldn't say really an indictment on anything. I think it's just a matter of I don't know. I guess my thing is everything would really just need to come together because that offensive line is bad, and I feel like it would take a miracle through the grace of God for that offensive line to just drastically improve overnight and make Jake Browning into this serviceable quarterback that could get into the playoffs. And I mean, besides, it's like even still, that defense needs to play. They're not going to do anything, and that defense continues to be what they've been. So I don't think they're getting to the playoffs either way. I think it would just be like Zach. Like if the Cincinnati Bengals were to make the playoffs this year, Zach Taylor is the coach of the year lock. Coach of the year lock. If they were to make the playoffs, they're just not going to go because I think you're really about to see the value of a Joe Burrow, especially playing behind that offensive line. Like his ability to get the ball out, his ability to make plays on the run, his ability to get first downs. You're about to see everything. The value of Joe Burrow, you're about to see with him not being out there. You're about to really see it like firsthand.
Yes, well, I agree.
Here's the thing. You look at the Bengals schedule. I think they have a bye after the Vikings game. Guess who they play Sunday, October 5th? Detroit. Oh. Then after that, they have the Steelers. Oh. Now, they got the Bears. They could possibly beat the Bears. They got New England. That's a pretty tough one. Then they got to go on the road to Buffalo, and then they got Baltimore twice. I mean, if you look at their schedule, and they got to deal with Cleveland again, and they barely beat Cleveland in the season opener. So when you look at their schedule, the likelihood of them making the playoffs is kind of like Champ being on the cover of GQ.
I can make the cover of GQ right now. I believe if I put that Suge Knight suit on, I think I could get on the cover of GQ. I put that red suit on, get me a big old.
Why don't you just wear the Biggie suit?
No, that's too much. No, we're gonna put the Suge. We might put the Rick Ross suit on. All
I want to get into better shape, and then I want to get on the cover of the magazine and I want to reenact. I want to be in better shape, and I want to do the Charles Barkley one, famous, where I don't know what the hell they were thinking, making that man take a shirt off and wear a chain around his neck like he's supposed to be some god or something. I want to do that photo shoot justice, because I don't know what the heck he was thinking. So I just want to get into better shape and actually sell the idea of wearing a chain around my neck. But that's just neither here nor there. We ain't gonna get into that discussion. And if you go back a few years and you remember that photo shoot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I laughed my butt off when I saw Charles Barkley on that cover with no shirt off. I'm like, Charles, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Come on, man. You send us big boys back. Stop. Don't do that. Stop.
Hey, man,
Don't do that.
man. Look. They look.
Hold on, champ. I got the schedule wrong. Guess who they play this September 29th, next Monday night? The
What's
Bengals. On the road at Mile High to Denver.
Damn.
Then after that, they go up against the Lions, October 5th. Then the 12th.
That's 2 L's.
Then October 12th, my birthday, they travel to Green Bay to play against the Packers, and we all know how difficult it is to play at Lambeau Field.
That should be an L, but Green Bay just lost to Cleveland, so you can't necessarily be like, oh, that's guaranteed.
But Micah Parsons going up against that offensive line with Rashard Gary.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Then you got the Steelers. Then you got the Jets, October 26th. Then you got the Bears. Then you have the Steelers at Heinz Field. Then you have the Patriots. Then in a short week, Thursday night, Thanksgiving night at Baltimore. Then after that, you got the Bills. Then after that, you got Baltimore again. Oh, you got Miami. You should have a chance to beat Miami. And then your last 2 games, Arizona and Cleveland.
They might be looking at a top 5 pick when it's all said and done. Not even gonna lie to you.
With that schedule,
that's nasty. Yeah. If they make the playoff on that, that's a big one. But
they're looking at a top 5 pick straight up. They looking at a top 5 draft pick.
Hey man, look,
and that's the argument I was making on the video when I did. Is the season over? What should the Bengals do? Do you advocate tanking for the rest of the season to try to get yourself offensive lineman for Joe Burrow? Because you said, champ, you've advocated. If I'm Joe Burrow and if the Bengals do not invest in O-line, I might as well retire and somebody else picks me up.
Yeah, because I'm not finna keep playing and getting my ass knocked the hell out. I'm just being real. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, to your point, it's gonna be a long road. It's a long road. Hey, this ain't boys to men. The end ain't it. The end of the road ain't near. So it's being real. I got a good question. We was talking about Caleb Williams earlier, right? And we'll go into that right before we go into the hunt for Red October, which is your segment of BRF.
Okay.
So why? And considering he played a hell of a game today, and I want to start with you, BRF, on this one too.
Okay.
Why it's only year 2? Why are we not showing Caleb Williams more grace? Mind you, it's year damn 5, and we're showing Trevor Lawrence, T. Mid, all the grace in the world. You know, he's in year 5. Look, let's just call it like it is. He's in year 5. He has a fat ass contract. Let me say that again. He got a fat ass contract. And, you know, not
he in Jacksonville.
He's in Jacksonville. And he got, look, and not one team has come over in the past few years and overtaken that division. It looks like Daniel Jones is about to overtake that division since C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans are hurt. And then when the Tennessee Titans are able to build around Cam Ward, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to beat them anymore. So that's the thing. We're sitting around here crucifying Caleb Williams like he's in year 5 versus in Trevor Lawrence. We're like, well, let's give him some time to see how it's going to develop. Let's give this some time. Remember, his first couple of years, they spent the top of the salary cap. They spent $275 million in order to make that team better. So we're in year 2 right about now, crucifying Caleb Williams, and everybody's talking about him in all types of ways, but yet we're in year 5 with Trevor Lawrence, and it's grace. Why is the media not showing Caleb Williams a lot of grace?
I think part of it is honestly, you can almost make a case when he was drafted last year, he came in with almost more hype than Trevor Lawrence did. And Trevor Lawrence came into the league with a lot of hype. Because with Trevor Lawrence, they were saying, like, best prospect since Luck. With Caleb Williams, they were throwing Patrick Mahomes' name out there in terms of just sheer raw arm talent and ability and his playmaking ability. They threw the Patrick Mahomes comparison out there. So he came in instantly with like a lot of hype and with being the number 1 overall draft pick. And I think honestly, some of it is just a lot of people don't necessarily like, his temperament, how he carries himself, just the painted nails and all that other stuff. A lot of people don't really like that. I mean, that's none of y'all's business. But I mean, I get it a little bit. Like, you need to focus on other things. You need to focus on your play first. I mean, I get that, but even still, like, he's year 2, and this is already his second offensive system that he's have to learn and kind of prepare week in and week out and get better in. So it's like, folks just want him to just come in and be the instant savior, whereas we're giving Trevor Lawrence so many excuses, talking about like the talent he's had around him and all this other stuff. What folk got to understand, look, this is how I feel. Like, only a few quarterbacks have ever truly been good in the league and weren't necessarily always handed the greatest offensive talent, the Tom Brady's of the world, not necessarily always handed the best offensive talent in the world. But a lot of times that should be a testament to who you are as a player in terms of just how much you're able to captivate, how much you're able to bring up the rest of the guys around you, showing your leadership. You are an extension of the coach on the football field. The leadership has to translate from the coaching to you. And I kind of get it. It's kind of been like a bit of a revolving door. But even at the same time, you have to kind of put your best foot forward, and you kind of have to put your foot down at some point to be like, hey, look, yeah, I get we got a lot going on, but I still need to lead this team. I still need to do what I need to do to help us win football games. And he ain't necessarily been doing that. And and Caleb Williams deserves the same type of grace. This is already his second offensive system. He deserves that. He deserves a little bit of that grace. I get the hype, but I mean, it's not like we were expecting him to just come into the league and just be, we weren't expecting instant superstar off the bat. We was expecting him to be good, but not like, we weren't expecting, first team all pro immediate out of his rookie year. So, I mean, just folks kind of have to be a little more realistic with the situation. And Ben Johnson is a hell of an offensive play caller. I mean, you saw that on full display today. What they did to the Dallas Cowboys today. You saw his mind at work. So really, it's just about if we're gonna give all these other guys a chance to develop and get better, we need to do the same with Caleb Williams and let him get the opportunity to develop and be a better quarterback, because you saw the potential. You saw a little bit of that ceiling of what he can be when everything is clicking on all cylinders, like his arm strength, his arm strength, his athleticism, just everything was on full display today. Like his ability to be a really good playmaker out of the pocket. Everything was on display. We need to let him. You hope you get Ben Johnson for at least a good guaranteed 3 years. So let's let Let's let him develop in this offensive system that he's in. This year ain't gonna tell me much. It's gonna be like the middle part of next year, and then going into year 3. That's really gonna tell me where he's at in his offense. Because if he's really starting, if he's gonna show dramatic improvement going into the end of this year, already going into year 2 of this offense, then let him thrive and let him grow and let him develop. I honestly don't feel like we're gonna see like. You're not going to see the growth until probably like the middle part of year 2 anyway. Because I feel like your first true like test is like that first kind of like full off season to be able to prep, to be able to just study the playbook, to be able to just see everything. I think the test is when you have like this year and then you get all off season with that playbook to really see what you are and what you're going to be in this offense. So like I said, I would at least the middle of next year to kind of see the development and kind of see it grow and kind of see where he is as a quarterback. So yeah, I definitely, he deserves a little bit of that grace. So I think people do need to they need to back off of him a little bit, seeing how too many quarterbacks, and not just Trevor Lawrence, but too many quarterbacks that have been drafted has got way more of a leash than Caleb Williams has gotten.
New Jersey genius.
I think you asked this question because I recall Babyface Heel, and I mentioned Caleb Williams for Babyface Heel on last Friday's pod. No wonder why you call me the New Jersey genius so often. I think Caleb Williams is because he has a target on his back. Simply because of his personality, the fingernails, his outfits, everything else. I really don't care about that type of stuff. To me, that's relevant. And they say, well, because he plays the quarterback, the quarterback's supposed to perceive and look a certain way. He can't do that. That's not conducive to winning. And I'm like, why do you have a problem with the fingernails and stuff? When he actually did it to bring awareness. Remember the Monday Night Football game champ, which I'm not going to be specific, but you know what certain cause he was trying to bring awareness to for that Monday Night Football game. Yeah. So he's known for doing that type of stuff. So I don't have a problem with it as long as he doesn't get into any legal issues, as long as he's not a bad teammate or person. I could care less. Also, too, they think Caleb is entitled because they look at him leaving Oklahoma to go to USC and winning a Heisman trophy there. As much as I hated to see Caleb leave, but at the same time, I understand because, again, you wanted to develop your game to the professional level. That was to be with Lincoln Riley. And on top of that, hey, as much as I love Oklahoma, I mean, you can't go wrong going to California. The NIL deal, the money, everything that California has to provide, sunshine. I can't knock Caleb. Also, too, his father, because remember, his father was on the record saying, well, Caleb, there's a possibility he could stay next year in USC. And obviously he made the smart decision because ain't no way in hell he was going to stay another year at USC when they're about the Big Ten. So that wasn't going to work out. And also, too, because Chicago, they've been starving for so long for a quarterback. I mean, and it hasn't worked out. The best quarterback they've had for a while was Jay Cutler, who's the modern version of Jeff George. And they also bring up the other things with Caleb. Well, Caleb was on the sideline crying to his mom. If Chicago or anybody else, Chicago, you would want that because throughout Jay Cutler's career, he gave the impression he didn't give a fuck. He didn't care.
You passed them ends.
Also, the NFC Championship game. Remember the NFC Championship game when he was riding on his bicycle, champ?
Yes.
You know, he was criticized for, and rightfully so, because of a game of that magnitude. You still had a chance to play. Now, it was a sprained MCL. I understand that, but at the same time, we've seen players. We saw Phillip Rivers.
He played on a torn ACL. He was fresh off of surgery.
Byron Leftwich at
He played with a
University of
broken
Marshall.
leg. Him and Donovan McNabb. No, I never forget that Byron Leftwich game stands out to me because the offensive lineman. I remember after every play, they picked him up and carried him to the line.
That's exactly the point. They literally had to pick him from the ground because he could barely stand up because of that ankle. He couldn't even get up on his own feet because his ankle was so jacked up. But I think it's because of him being the target, because of the painted fingernails, his outfits, him and his father, because remember, his father was on the record saying, well, he could stay another year at USC. We want to put him in the right circumstances. You get drafted with the number 1 overall pick, and it's not always going to turn out so well. And because it's Chicago, because of how big the market is and how they've been so starving and thriving for a quarterback, and as well, to BRF's point, the comparisons with Patrick Mahomes. But with Trevor Lawrence, for some reason, he gets a pass because we still keep looking at that playoff victory he won against the Los Angeles Chargers. I still give him credit for that because despite the mistakes he made in that game with those 4 interceptions, he still found a way to win that game. Now, we can look at it and say, hey, well, that's on Brandon Staley. And Brandon Staley is out of a job, as you can see.
Yeah.
But with Trevor Lawrence, people talk about Caleb Williams, whether he cares about football or not. Does Trevor Lawrence seem like he really cares about football or not? Because remember the things that he said prior to the draft. I am secure with who I am. Football's not going to be the end all be all. His coach and his fiance at the time said the same things. Remember the Sports Illustrated interview that he did with Michael Rosenberg? Chip, if you have the time, check it out. Can you? And I'm sorry, Chip. I know you're very hesitant to bring this up.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to say, but you're absolutely right. Go ahead.
Had Justin Fields had said exactly like that, or any other black quarterback prospect, regardless of being considered a generational talent, had they said the exact things, how would that been perceived?
He doesn't want to play ball.
And again, I don't feel very comfortable bringing this up because I know how you are with it as well, champ, too. So,
yeah, but at the end of the day, look, what I always say, you can't do what other folks do and still keep your damn job. That's just the thing. And I wish that a lot more of our quarterbacks will understand that. I understand that what Johnny do, you can't do. And that's what we need to understand. So, yeah, of course he said that. It's not going to be end all be all. Hell, Tony Romo, never forget, he said if this was the worst thing that ever happened to me, I think I lived a pretty good life after he lost that damn playoff game. Can you imagine if Michael Vick or somebody would have said that? They'd have pulverized his ass in the media. So that's just how it goes. But the thing is, and it's always going to be double standards in the media because guess what? The world is still getting used to these new age quarterbacks. They're still getting used to it. There used to be where the quarterback only looked a particular way. Look, let's not pretend. Just 30 years ago, in 1998, there was 2 black quarterbacks in the league and 2 black coaches in the league, 2 black head coaches in the league. You had Randall Cunningham at quarterback position, and you had Warren Moon. That was it. And then you had Tony Dungy and Dennis Green. That was it. So to go from where we were back in 1998, and you remember, look, I want y'all to go back and look at this. Go back and look at a football life. Go back and look at a football life 93 Houston. I think it's online right now. Go back and look at it. And they said he had to have a perfect home life. He couldn't be seen drinking a beer in public. He couldn't be seen partying.
Warren Moon.
Yes, Warren Moon. He had to be perceived.
No, he lived the life like Brett Favre. Right? That we know. Know.
No, his actual life had to be perfect.
Yeah, in order for him to have employment. And remember, he had to go to the CFL.
Yeah, so yeah, his life had to be employed. He couldn't be seen drinking, and he understood that. That's the thing. He understood. I'm the quarterback. I can't be seen drinking in public. I can't be seen drunk. I can't be seen like this. He understood. So yeah, you're gonna have to, and that's how come when people start giving Warren Moon hell about him saying quarterback is a humble position, I'll say, well, hell, who would know that better than Warren Moon? Hey, people talk about trying to pick Bo Jackson. Look, people talk about trying to pick Bo Jackson to Tech, but well, I remember me and one of my cousins had a damn near got to fighting because I wanted to pick the Houston Oilers and run and shoot offense with Warren Moon. So yeah, I mean, it's still a grudging process. I mean, and just this past week alone, it's a grudging process. So yeah, you gotta. I get it, but we all got to get it. You can't do what everybody else do and still keep your job. They don't live in the same world that you do.
But the thing is, Trevor Lawrence should get much more criticism, though, because I feel like, to me, and CJ Stroud deserves criticism, because yes, we can look at the offensive line, but we can still also look at you as well. And I'm a big CJ fan, but at the same time, Trevor, they brought the offensive coordinator from Tampa, Liam Cohen, if I'm not mistaken, champ.
Yes, indeed.
You saw the job he did with Baker Mayfield, and you're thinking, I'm Trevor Lawrence. Coming out of college, I was considered a generational talent. I was the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. I've been raved not only at college, but also at high school. He was in Cartersville, Georgia, I think.
Yeah, Cartersville, Georgia. They was talking about him all the time down here.
Right. So with Trevor Lawrence, it seems like to me, because of the hype and the attention and the fame that he got, it seemed, and because he was such a media darling, he had a pass. With Baker Mayfield, even though he was the number 1 overall pick, there were more draft comparisons between him and Johnny Manziel. And I thought at times it was too unfair, because just on the football field, Baker had more skill that could translate to the NFL than Johnny. Baker obviously had a stronger arm. Baker, I thought, was more accurate. I think for Johnny Manziel, yeah, he did a great job improvising and creating plays. But at the same time, with Johnny, it didn't seem like to me he didn't prioritize football or cared enough about football. He was more interested in the lifestyle. But with Baker Mayfield, he got a bad rep. And I think with Trevor Lawrence, you would think with the circumstances, you would think with the right type of head coach, OC, the people around you, you would maximize your potential. But we keep looking at all the head coaches, all the offensive coordinators. At some point in time, when is that also on you? Because we looked at with Baker Mayfield, we looked at with Caleb Williams and a lot of other guys. Why is it that you have gotten the pass?
And the same thing happened, like I said, a different type of quarterback. Baker Mayfield was a different type of quarterback. Remember, he's not the only one that got a pass. Remember Sam Darnold. He got a pass for a hell of a lot of long years. Colin Cowherd, he stayed on the Sam Darnold train. Well, he did go to the Jets. Well, not Caleb, but
Baker, we can understand the Jets because of how bad they were, and let's not forget Adam Gase.
Yeah, Adam.
He was just as bad, if not worse, than Josh McDaniels. Yeah, I know.
You mean Carlos? You mean Carlos later?
Oh shit!
Oh gosh! Oh wow!
Tell me he don't look. Tell me he look like he paid a visit to Carlos later. I'm just saying. We all know why. We all know why I'm calling him Carlos later. So that look he had in the damn fresh on his eye, all buck up and shit.
But I think we should give Caleb more grace because, look, did anyone anticipate that the Bears would win the division? I don't think so. I mean, maybe we expected Green Bay, especially with the addition of Micah Parsons. We expected Detroit to regress to some extent because losing not only Ben Johnson, but also Aaron Glenn. But with Caleb Williams, and also too, what he has around him. DeAndre Swift. One point they had Keenan Allen, Roman Dunze, Matt, Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, and the offensive line. As you always say, champ, quarterback cannot throw on his back. They invested on the offensive line. So obviously, with all these expectations, and when you look at the quarterbacks in your draft class, such as Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, two of those quarterbacks who were drafted after you, who went to the playoffs. Jaden Daniels made it to the NFC Championship game. Bo Nix made it, helped the Denver Broncos make it to the playoffs. The last time they've been to the playoffs was the year when they won the Super Bowl. So they kind of hold you in that regard. So, yes, I think Caleb Williams should have more grace because he's still in year 2, and also because of the playing style as well. A lot of times he does hold on to the football a little too long and tries to make a play out of nothing. And he doesn't read the defenses, go for his first read. So that's another knock on criticism on him. But with Trevor Lawrence, he should have far more criticism because, again, when you're compared to Andrew Luck, when you're compared to a quarterback of that type of caliber and what you were not only in high school, but also in college, you should have a lot more criticism. And I mean, Colin Cowherd, I remember Colin Cowherd said if Trevor Lawrence had entered the draft as a freshman, he would have been the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, he absolutely said that. You're absolutely right. He deserves a little bit more criticism. Anything you got to add to that, BRF?
I'll make this quick little point before we move on. Like I said, I'll just kind of reiterate what I was saying earlier. It's mainly he's still in the development stages, and this is already his second offense. Just let him develop, let him grow, let him suck up all the knowledge he can. Being the guy, being drafted and brought in, and just having the almost thwarted on him, just like, hey, you're gonna be the face franchise, you're gonna be the savior, you're gonna get us to the playoffs here. It's like, I didn't get a chance to say hello, So I mean, like, yeah, just he definitely deserves a little more grace than what a lot of people have been giving him, and just let him develop. I mean, let him develop. He's got a year, maybe another half year, maybe 2. Just let Caleb develop.
Yeah. What do you think about Travis Hunter this season? I think he's real versatile, but I think they need to play him at receiver a little bit more.
I think he's a better corner personally, but that's just me.
Okay.
I like the wide receiver spot though, but I don't want him playing every single snap though.
Yeah, no, I don't want you playing every single snap. Let me ask you this. I don't know if you know anything. Real quick, BRF. Who wins the Hump in October?
Who wins?
Atlanta.
Hell no.
I'm just joking. We ain't even going to the playoffs.
We definitely won the title as most disappointing team in the league this year, considering we had the second best odds to win the entire World Series. Only the Dodgers have better odds, so the Braves are definitely the most disappointing team this year. Who would I pick to win the World Series right now? Let me think. You got the Yankees. I'm trying to think who's all. Bro, they're in the conversation whether you want to hear it or not. They're in the conversation. You got, let's see, Blue Jays. Blue Jays are in the mix. Cleveland's been hot. You got Seattle, Houston. The National League, you got the Mets, you got the Phillies, you got the Cubs. If you have to put me on the spot right now, I think the World Series. Oh gosh, you might not like me for what I'm about to say. I think the World Series is going to be Phillies Yankees.
That's good. I think that's good. I really would love it to be the. I really would love for it to be the Dodgers and the Yankees, but just because of the media attention,
The one I would want, the one I would want, and it's mainly because of like the old American League Central ties that these teams used to have with each other. As crazy as it sounds, I would love a Brewers Guardians World Series just to see that American League Central connection go at it for a 7-game series. That's the one I would like to see, but because for me it's not necessarily about ratings. It's about right now who I think would give me the best 7-game series in terms of how well they're playing. And I think right now, the Brewers and the Guardians would give me the best 7-game series right now because of how both teams have been playing. That's the one I want. The one I think we're going to get is Phillies Yankees.
I like that. Anything you got to add about the Red October, New Jersey Dreams?
I don't really pay much attention to baseball, unfortunately.
Okay. Outside, you're not in the great words of Michael Jackson. You're not alone. I don't pay attention to it. My team been out the playoffs, so yeah.
But I did see you. But I did
we were out of
see
playoffs in August.
But I did see you and your sister. I saw the photos of y'all Braves game. Y'all had a good time, though. I'm glad y'all had a good time.
Yeah, but I will throw caution to the wind at when you go, if you're gonna go to a game, go to the Falcons game, because that damn food out there at Atlanta Braves Stadium at Truist Park, it's good, but it's expensive as hell. Whereas you could eat real good up there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you take $20 with you to the stadium and you pretty much squared away for the day. You get you a beer, some hot dogs, everything. Everybody can eat good, even if you take a family of 4 there. So yeah.
Listen, if you think it's expensive in Atlanta, what do you think it's going to be in New York and New Jersey?
I need look. My dream is to come to New York and get one of them damn hotels at the Yankee Stadium doing a ball game, so I can watch it from the damn suite or whatever. I think that'll be.
Listen. I know, champ, but just be careful because you're gonna have dumbass, crazy New Yorkers heckling you. They may try to confront you. Well, why would they confront a guy 6 feet 320? So nah.
I wouldn't recommend it. But look, as much as I hate the Yankees, I hate the Yankees because I should have 5 World Series titles and I only have 1.
I would love to see more than anything.
We should have at least 3.
We should have at least 3. But it broke my heart on every last one of them, and every time we lost to them.
You know where Champ needs to go to? You need to go to AT&T Stadium and take Mama Champ to a Cowboys game.
Yes, that's in the works right about now. Speaking of that, but that is the first and only time you will see something that you've never seen before. You never will see again. But
AT&T Stadium is on my bucket list of stadiums / arenas I would love to visit.
I've been there. It's enormous.
Yeah.
I don't know. Champ, I mean, sooner or later, who knows? Champ might be wearing a Cowboy jersey.
No, I doubt that.
I don't foresee that happening anytime in the near future.
Either Saints jersey.
No.
No. Yeah, that's equal levels of hell no right there.
Hell no. You know that's hell no. I would never cheer for the Aints. But man. Hell of a show tonight, man. Can't wait to have flashback. PSP, thank you for everything. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
Waiting on some things to come back. Once some things come back, I'll let you know when it comes back. You know what I'm talking about. So
yes.
So I appreciate everything, guys, man. Anything you guys want to add, man? Tell the people where to follow you at PSP.
Sports PSP podcast. New episode out. Molly Karam leaving ESPN. Champ and I, we discussed that on Friday night. Ain't no chance in hell of me being the moderator on First Take. That's a fact. I'd be high as a kite to be working with Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins. But on another note, always a pleasure with Undisputed World Champ. The great D gives her love as always. So always happy. I'm glad I helped out Champ with the podcast thing, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep it up, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Milestone was hit early this week. West Flash was here to tell them we have officially hit 170 subscribers. So thanks to everybody that is here at this point, because everybody in this circle right here, this triangle right here, including Flash, who's not here, everyone has contributed to that. Although PSP may not be on the show every single week, he is a part of the show. He's always giving us these little pipe bombs in the comments. There's a lot of stuff that he and myself work on behind the scenes in order to improve it. So there's a lot of improvements that's made. Just because I always say this, how we say it down south, BRL, just because the mouth that feeds you is not coming directly from the hand doesn't mean it's not coming from the same hand.
Coming from the same hand.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just another. It's just the same show but another day. Let's just be honest with you. Same show but different day. But everybody who's here, thank you guys for contributing. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. Thank you for everybody who finds my jokes funny. And BRF, thank you. I appreciate it.
Brother, it is always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure to get on here. It's always a pleasure to share the stage with PSP, one of the homies, man. I already feel like he's already one of my forever homies, man. Just y'all two and kind of helping me stay motivated and continuing on this journey as far as podcasting and stuff like that. Because I've branched out, done my own thing a little bit, and ultimately it just leads back to what kind of put me on the map. Champ, you helped get me on the map with the TikTok lives, and then you pretty much said, hey, PSP, hey, I got a guy, bring him on. And ever since then it's been fun, and I've just enjoyed it every step of the way, man. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity, man. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it. A topic not thought about, by the way, people. Y'all holla at your boy.
Yes, indeed. And this time next year, I'll make sure I set you up on that date with Capri Styles. On that note, I will holler at each and every last one of you. Yeah, you have a great day.
If we go to Houston, that ain't the one I want, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That is a whole nother conversation, and we will cut the tape off on that note.